So yesterday I was walking my dog in a state forest in Western Mass. My state, like every state now, is broke, so the parks are unstaffed for the season, but still, doesn't matter, me and the neighbors still walk our dogs there. So there I am in the middle of the woods when all of a sudden I hear a bird song I have never heard. Now, I didn't know what kind it was, so I took out my BlackBerry and I turned on the little application where you can record voice notes for yourself, and I recorded this bird. I would try to, yeah, it didn't. Can we play it one more time? Yeah. All right, so it didn't come out great, but you get what I was trying to do. My personal bird vocabulary is sort of limited. I can do crow versus raven. I can do seagulls, a few other embarrassing greatest hits, but not really any of the detailed stuff. And this was new to me. So I made this recording on the BlackBerry, and I sent it to my girlfriend, Susan, who laughed at me so hard that she forgot to tell me whether or not she can identify the bird either. I still don't know what it is, but I tried. Now, as an American citizen, I was perfectly free to take out this device and record the sound of the bird. And the part where it gets really great is that I could also send that sound as a message, and I could get a reply. I could get information and give information on my own time, at my own choosing, in my own way. If that whole scene had happened in Dubai, I'd have been able to record that bird song on my BlackBerry, sure, but the government would have stopped me from emailing it to anyone. The United Arab Emirates yesterday announced that it will be turning off BlackBerry service in October. Just turning it off, the email, the messaging, the web browsing, because the government there considers the free sending of information back and forth over this device to be a security threat. I was in Dubai last month on my way to Afghanistan, and while I was there, I used my BlackBerry to send out some really blurry pictures from the airport. The whole world was blurry after flying for 12 hours, but I sent those really blurry pictures using my BlackBerry. I sent them over to someone in New York who posted them on the Maddow blog right away. I mean, look, I spend most of my time in public as part of this big apparatus called television, which takes tons of hours and human labor to get from 30 Rock here to you at home. If an evil regime wanted to censor us, we would be very easy to find here. But when it's just one sleep-deprived person sending blurry photos from the airport in Dubai, when it's that light and fast and unimpeded, that's a very difficult form of broadcasting to stop. And that's what makes this aspect of the digital age so dangerous for governments like the one in the United Arab Emirates. They lose control of the information that you and I are sending. In the case of BlackBerry and UAE, this decision has been made because the company that makes BlackBerries uses a system to protect the privacy of messages. And that system makes them so private that the Emirates government has trouble spying on them. The BlackBerry's ability to encrypt our messages has outrun that government's ability to read those messages. And if the government of the United Arab Emirates cannot read those messages, it doesn't want people to be able to send them. The story of the UAE shutting off BlackBerry service is about a lot more than a Middle Eastern country cracking down on thumb typing. The line that distinguishes organized media, like us here in the studio, from everyday human beings without jobs in the organized media, that line has gotten a lot more dotted in recent years. There's still a big important place for professional reporting and writing and editing and storytelling, but ordinary people frankly got the word out about the uprising in Iran last year, one tweet at a time, one YouTube clip at a time. In Haiti this year, people used Twitter and Flickr and Facebook to figure out who was still trapped in the rubble and to send messages about where supplies were most desperately needed. When flash flooding devastated Nashville this spring and few outside the region noticed, the people of Nashville kept the story alive on Twitter and on their own blogs. They let the world know themselves. Democratic societies like ours have a romantic and fervently defended tradition of freedom of the press. Freedom of the capital P press is among our most sacred principles. We defend it almost reflexively. But there is a new threat in town for governments with something to fear, and that threat is you and it is me. Not you, the viewer, and me, the cable news host, but you and me, a sleepy person in the Dubai airport who's sending a picture out. You and me trying to identify a bird call over email. You and me writing an angry note about the Ministry of Justice, or sitting in China trying to Google the background of a national official, or downloading a movie that has been banned, or starting a discussion about a policy that we as individual humans don't like. You and me communicating freely with each other. That simple act outside the organized media is so dangerous, is so powerful, has had such an impact already in the short time that it has existed on this earth that it terrifies enormous emerging superpowers like China. It also apparently terrifies small, ostentatiously consuming nations like the United Arab Emirates. The thing that scares them, really, is you and me talking, exchanging information and ideas on our own terms. That is becoming the most dangerous thing in the world. And so defending it is becoming one of the most important fights for freedom in the world. That does it for us tonight. We will see you again tomorrow night. Meanwhile, there's lots to add to what you see on the show. We are very proud of our excellent blog at maddowblog.msnbc.com. Our email address is rachel@msnbc.com, and our free podcast is at iTunes. Countdown with Keith Olbermann starts right now. Have a good night.